What does our company do and who do we work with? Our company sells and services whole life insurance policies that are specifically designed for maximum cash value. To provide some more information on that, everyone we work with, the number one goal when setting up that policy is designing it for maximum cash value. Meaning, how do you, the policyholder, attain as much cash value, meaning the highest cash value upfront, the highest cash value long term, both on a guaranteed and non-guaranteed basis, and then also based on historical performance. Meaning when we look at whole life insurance policies that don't just illustrate the best looking numbers, but have actually delivered strong cash values, that's what we're looking for. That is so important and a huge step in preventing buyer's remorse when it comes to someone taking out a whole life insurance policy where cash value is their goal. So maximum cash value upfront, long term, maximum flexibility, meaning how do you adjust payments over time? It is very common for individuals we work with state, I want the ability to pay up to $100,000 per year. However, I do not want to receive a bill for $100,000 per year. So how we'll often design a policy in that particular case is we'll design it where someone has the ability to pay up to $100,000 per year, but they're only committed to approximately $10,000 per year. That $10,000 can sometimes be paid monthly or yearly, but that's their minimum commitment, and then they can add the rest at their leisure. Now, company selection is important here, so we'll go over different companies and products that are available, really to ensure that you're set up again with the best possible policy when it comes to maximizing the cash value and also flexibility. And then when it comes to company selection, that point we mentioned earlier about historical performance is very, very important. We design all of our policies in-house, meaning when we are looking at different scenarios and analyzing different companies and policies, we're designing those products, meaning we're working on the illustrations in the software and then sending you those values based on what we put together. That is really what we specialize in right there. And then as time passes, we talked about servicing the policy, tracking the actual policy performance. One of my favorite things to do personally is to look at what the original illustration looked like when you first started that policy, and then look at the actual results as the years pass. Yes, I am a bit strange that I enjoy that, but it's really, really nice to see when policies actually deliver strong cash values, not just based on what was illustrated, but again, based on reality. And that's something that you'll see a lot of individuals do who have very large policies and also at the corporate level. So that's with the initial design and then also tracking policy performance. And then we've got using your policy. So once a policy is put in force, we're very, very big on service. We have a requirement at our company to reach out to you every 6 months. And that 6-month reach out provides an update on your policy. What's the present cash value? What's the present death benefit? What's the dividend rate with the company you have? When is the premium due? How much money can you add to the policy? Would you like a review meeting? What we want to make sure of is that we don't just sell you a policy and then disappear. Constantly reaching out, offering review calls, and then really being available on demand. Whenever you have questions, you can reach out anytime. We can connect over a call or provide answers via email correspondence or a recording, whatever is most convenient for you. But helping you use the policy as the years pass is very, very important. So one way to do this is to look at illustrations. So before you take out a policy, before you start going back to maximizing the cash value, you'll see illustrations. You'll see them with different companies, different products, different scenarios, and it displays what the policy might look like if you pay a certain dollar amount in. However, as the years pass, it's important to continue to look at illustrations. You'll see the industry use the term in-force illustrations, which provide an updated illustration based on what you've already paid in, the company's present dividend interest rate, and then also factoring in future payments. Meaning if you said, hey, my original plan was to pay in X amount of dollars, but now I'm going to pay in a different amount, how does that impact my policy values moving forward? Well, we'll look at in-force illustrations and different assumptions. The same is true when we're looking at loans. Perhaps we're looking at income with the policy, or we're looking at the total death benefit. All of those factors are very, very important. A lot of people we work with, like this piece here, policy loans, meaning if you're going to use your policy. Perhaps you're leveraging it for real estate, for your business, whatever it might be. Seeing what that policy looks like if you borrow against it and don't pay anything back, if you only pay the interest, if you pay it back in full. Seeing that before a transaction actually occurs is so valuable. So many people have appreciated that because they get to see firsthand, if I pay it back at this pace, I'm always in a position where the policy is producing greater gains than what I'm paying them in loan interest. I do not want to be upside down. So the numbers can really speak to us in that case, and we do like to make it as simple as possible too. Assisting with transactions. We've got our company set up with different departments. Our client relations department really works on your behalf when working with the insurance company. If it's loan transactions, making policy changes, really when it comes to your money, what we want to make sure of is take a loan transaction. If you request a loan, we've got our department in place to ensure that everything goes as quickly and smoothly as possible. Accidents do occur with insurance carriers. There's times where individuals request policy loans, they select ACH, they want the funds sent direct deposit, but the insurance company mails a check. And that just so happens to be the month that you're on vacation and you're away from your mailbox for the next 30 days. Not fun at all. So having someone on your team that can always reach out to the insurance company and play the middleman, knowing who to reach out to and such to ensure things are expedited, that's what we've got set up there, and there's a lot more that goes to it. The same is true with policy changes, recommending them when necessary, and helping you execute policy changes. For example, what if you go with a policy that's too big and we need to reduce it after the fact in order to enhance the performance? We want to make sure we're looking at that, and we do review that. Then ongoing service. As long as you have a policy, we'll continue to reach out to you to provide service because it's very important. And then this one too, working with any advisors and institutions that you have or you're working with. A great example of this is a tax attorney or estate planner that needs to have awareness on your life insurance policy, both from a cash value and death benefit standpoint, to see how that works with your business or your overall estate plan. Working with them and providing information that they need to be aware of, because that's what we're good at. What we don't want is for you to have a policy and then have to explain everything to your advisor where it can be difficult. That'd be like asking me to explain how an engine is built in a car. It's not my specialty. I'm going to mess it up. I'd much rather defer to my mechanic in that particular case. But those are just a couple examples around the service that we provide. Who we work with, the top one's most important, people who want to work with us. That's who we work with at the end of the day. We've got a couple examples there. We see a lot of real estate investors, a lot of small business owners. We do work with some corporations, particularly in the executive benefit planning arena, and then banks and bank-owned life insurance. I've got some experience there, but in cases like that, a third-party administrator does need to be involved, and there's a bit more to it. But those are a couple examples of who we work with. We also work with individuals that are employed, they've got a W-2 job, or they are in another field. They don't have to be a real estate investor or a business owner or anything like that, but we work with individuals primarily who want to work with us. And I'll also add, this part's very important, they're typically doing research and are educated on whole life insurance, different companies, how the product works. They've seen case studies, typically on our social media platforms, perhaps it's YouTube or another channel, meaning they're educated to a degree before they engage with us about taking out a policy. So that leads in to the next item here, which is policy size. And this is annual funding. So we've got $50,000 to $250,000, $250,000 to $1 million per year, and then more than $1 million per year in annual funding is who we work with. That's definitely our sweet spot and who we've been able to serve to the highest degree possible. What I want to add on this part is if you're watching this and thinking, okay, I don't have the ability to put in 6 figures per year into a policy. I'm considering less than $50,000. 2 things. 1, let's say you're in this range, the $50,000 to $250,000 per year that you're considering paying into a policy. Let's say it's $100,000 per year. That's the max you want to pay in. I'll start with what that does not mean. That does not mean that you are committed or obligated to pay $100,000 per year. What it means is you have a policy set up, most likely, with a $10,000 per year minimum. And if you've seen some of our content, you already know how that works, referring to policy design. $50,000 per year. That means we have a minimum of approximately $5,000 per year and the ability to pay up to $50K per year. So that's the first point. But number two, let's say it's less than $50K. Perhaps you're in a situation where you said, hey, the minimum I can pay is $2,000 per year, and I think I can pay up to $20,000 per year. That really fits my situation. $50K would be too much of a stretch and would feel like a burden. We don't want that. So we will work with you. We do work with individuals paying in less than $50K per year from a policy design standpoint. All we ask is that you do go through the educational content, the resources we have that provides you with the knowledge you need to know in order to have a policy set up for maximum cash value. Just over the years, in our experience, we found a lot of people that are paying in particularly 6 to 7 figures per year. I see it every time with 7 figures per year, is by the time they engage with us, they understand the product. And that simply comes from the fact that they viewed a lot of our content already. They know what questions to ask, meaning they don't want to come into the meeting uneducated. To illustrate, if I am shopping for a car, what I don't like to do is go into a dealership completely unaware, not having looked at any of the products that they have available, any of the cars. I just ask the salesman, I'm interested in a car. I'd like to know a little bit about everything. That's not what I want to do for a number of reasons. Typically what I'll do is research different models, have a good sense of exactly what I want regarding the brand, the year, the engine, everything. And then when I go to the dealership, I'm going to say, here's what I'm interested in. In fact, I usually even take a further step and email them beforehand saying, I'm interested in that car. Or I noticed you did not have that car in your inventory. Here's what I'm interested in. Will you have this at a future date? Or is it possible to order one? I want to be educated beforehand, and then I'll ask them questions, and they'll ask me a lot of questions too about things that I might not be aware of, some important details, really to make sure that I'm fully aware of what I'm getting and that I'll be satisfied with it. Let us know if you have any questions at all. Please leave them below in the comment section, or you can reach out to us direct. And I hope this helps. Thanks so much, and we look forward to working with you if you feel we're a fit. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.